Sir, you're on mute.
Shoaib, are we live?
Yes, sir, we are live.
Okay, just let me pull up the chat as well. Yeah, hello. Good evening, everyone. Hi. Hello, everyone. Is my voice audible clearly? Please put up in the chat. Yeah, hi, Vaibhav. Hi, Kamlesh. Welcome. So, first of all, how are you? How is everyone? Please mention in the chat from which all cities you are watching this lecture with us. Please put up in the chat down below. Which all cities? Mumbai, Kolkata, anything? Please mention in the chat down. Yep. Okay, we have a spam in the chat. That's great. We have over 400 students with us. Kolkata, Bokaro, Sangli, Bangalore, Delhi. Okay, we have someone from UK as well. That's great. Okay, great. Okay, so let's begin with our brand new program which we have brought as per students' requirement, which is the data science program, along with Dr. Darshan Ingle. So let me all introduce you to this program and what is Let's Upgrade and what we are trying to achieve. So we are a tech edge startup, and what we are aiming towards is providing quality education, quality learning at very affordable and reasonable prices. And we have been doing this for a good amount of time, and we are proud to tell you that we have over 1.5 lakh students learning with us as a community. So explaining about this program, let me quickly share my screen to take you through this whole process of learning. So just give me a sec, guys. I'll share my screen. Okay. Shoaib, please add my screen to StreamYard. Is my screen visible? Okay. So first of all, this is our website, Essentials 101 Data Science Program. So what it is it is a 8 hours of full pack program which is going to be conducted on weekdays, on alternate days. The timetable and everything is all mentioned on the website. And we are going to learn this all things: Python, data types. What is okay? So it's like basically two modules: Python and data science. So first 2 days you will be learning about Python, and then we'll move into data science. This is our trainer. He's a corporate trainer, and he has an extensive knowledge in AI, RPA, Python, R, AIML, automata theory, and like very many very different concepts and languages. So this is the whole structure. You can all have this schedule and book your calendars accordingly. A calendar link was also sent to you in your email. Yes, Nitin, I'm coming to the whole attendance assignment certificate. The whole process I'm going to explain before we start with the learning today. So this is the whole timetable, and we have this community. This is a community link, and this is a group we have for your first batch. So this link is provided in the mail as well. And Shoaib, just put up this in this chat as well, so people who are new, who are directly watching us on YouTube, can go and join this community and get all the updates. So basically, what our community is, we are having, like, currently we are having 460 members, and everyone you can have a discussion and post articles about data science, code together, learn together, and grow together. So basically, Let's Upgrade basically believes in just only four things: learn, build, share, and grow. So you come together in our community, you learn together. Okay, you build projects together with us, you share all your projects on your GitHub or to the open source community, and you grow while you are learning all in all that this process. So this is all what about Let's Upgrade is. So we have this all details post. This is where you can have all the information about your batch. This post will be updated daily, and as in requirement, any updates, anything required related to the program will be pinned to this pinned to this group. I repeat, it will be pinned. So whenever you open the top 2 or 3 posts, whatever you can see, is what is very relevant or informative. So when you go on this more tab, I'm just taking a few time to explain you. So every day you will get your lecture links here as well as on your mails as a reminder. And then this is your assignments where you have to submit. I'll come to that later. And to get you started, so if people are new here and have uh, not gone through the whole process, here are few articles written by our community members or our students how to install Python, Anaconda, and Jupyter Notebook on various operating systems. Okay, and the sixth one is how you have to submit your assignment. So what we believe is you only grow when you have a profile on our GitHub, as in when you showcase what you have learned or what you have built. So while submitting assignments, the whole process is after every session we will give you assignments, all right, and you have to solve those and upload to your GitHub repository and submit that GitHub repository link GitHub file link to our Google form. I'll come to that part. Okay, so let me just open this Google form for you guys. Just a minute. Yeah, so we have this Google form wherein you have to update your registered email address. I repeat, registered email address. Do not use multiple email address to submit your Google forms, because then while grading and checking the assignments, you will not be able to qualify for the examination. And then your name, mobile number, assignment name, whichever day assignment is, and then you can choose to upload your file, give your URL. So we will remove this upload file. I don't know why it is there. So yeah, submit file URL, and here you will upload your GitHub URL link. The whole thing is explained in this point number 6 video by one of our team member. So that is how you have to submit your assignments. And coming to attendance, we are going to raise attendance form anywhere between the session in the last half hour of the session. Okay, anywhere in between the session, we will raise the attendance form. Srinivas, can you please hold on a bit? I'm just trying to explain the students like how the whole process is going to be there. Rishu Rajan is asking what is the repository name on our GitHub. You can name it whatever you want, like data science program, LetsUpgrade. The whole procedure is explained in this video. So that is all from my side, and I guess we are good to go with our program. So just let me switch back to the window, and Darshan sir, I'll hand over the whole session to you.
Hey guys, I'll just share my screen and once again get a confirmation from you. Just a second, Prasad. Just give me a confirmation. I'm sharing the entire screen.
Okay.
So yes.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you see
sir.
my
Yes,
screen?
sir. We can see it. Aditya, examination dates are also mentioned in that timetable. Please check that timetable. Everything is there. Yes, sir. We can go ahead. Over to you.
Okay, I'll just stretch out this link. Okay, it's perfect, right?
Yes, sir. It's perfect.
Okay. Hey guys, very good evening to all of you. First of all, please let me know whether am I audible to all of you. I'll just like to see in the chat section if I'm audible. Please message as VIC if the voice is clear. If the voice is clear and at the same time you can see my screen and me, you can please message VIC. Voice is clear. Okay, in caps VIC. Yes. Good evening. Aryan, Sahil, Shriya, Rahul, Lalit, Karthik. The names are scrolling so fast that I'm unable to read everything. But yes. Thank you very much. Yes. A very good evening to all of you guys. Thank you very much. I got it. Voice is clear. Perfect. So from now, this is going to be the protocol. At any moment, if you think there is any disturbance, please reply with VINC. Voice is not clear. Okay. And if the voice is clear, you can just reply with VIC. Perfect. So I see we have around 900 and 1000 people attending the session live. And I have been going through the chats, and on the chat, I have been continuously watching that people over here are attending from all over the world. I saw comments like Mumbai, Hyderabad, Uti, Pune. There was one candidate from UK. Some of them are from also United States of America. I mean, it's really nice that could be your daytime over there. And yes, you all are attending the session over here. Okay. Now, well, coming on to the data science program. Okay, so we have broken this down into two parts. Before I go ahead, I'll just like to introduce myself. Well, my name is Dr. Darshan Ingle. I teach in the entire program of AI/ML. I am associated with LetsUpgrade since a long time, and I have successfully completed the two batches of AI/ML where I specifically take artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the deep learning topics. Apart from that, yes, I do train in the area of natural language processing. I train in uh, statistics, Excel, data visualization using Power BI, using Tableau. Yes, so precisely the entire area of AI ML I do cover. But let me tell you, in spite of having such huge knowledge in this area, I still feel that things are incomplete because field itself is that huge that you can keep on learning this for lifetime, and it is not practically possible to know each and every corners of the subject. You can explore some of the corners and yet some of the stones would be still untouched. So that's how big the area is. So I have around 11 plus years of experience in this industry. I have been associated with taking trainings for companies like NASCOM, Times Internet, HDFC Life, Kotak Mahindra Bank. Um, AstraZeneca is one of the company which is currently making this Corona antivirus, right? Corona, this vaccine. So yes, I have trained their people also on Python, right? So that's all about me. I have around 13 international papers to my credit and few two patents and 13 international journals to my credit. Fine. So guys, coming on to the session, as you can see over here, what are we going to start on is first 2 days are going to be basics of Python. Literally, you belong from any background, okay? Belong from even arts background, or you are also a student at the moment. Understanding the basics of the Python is not going to be the challenge for you. I'll be starting from the basics. So first 2 days, purely basics of the Python. Next 2 days, we are going to have a deep dive into data science with the help of some project. Okay, that's how the 8 hours of curriculum is divided into. Now the question is, why is data science important? Well, data science is important because today we are living in the era of data. Yes, today we are ourselves generating such a huge amount of data. Just a second, I have to connect this. I think that's okay. So as I was telling you, that today we are living in the era of data. Everything you do today is getting recorded. For example, you are traveling from one place to another. Yes, your travel history is getting recorded on the Google's timeline. If you are shopping something, let's say on Amazon, or you are shopping something on Flipkart, your data is getting recorded, right? If I say I am on the way going to a fuel station to fill my car's fuel, yes, at that time you are going to swipe your credit card or debit card. All of your data is getting recorded. By the way, currently I am delivering in front of you a live lecture, and we all know that itself is also recorded over here. Precisely every day, just imagine we are generating gigabytes to petabytes of data. So such a huge amount of data is being generated every day, like people like us. And it is very much important that we try to get something out of this data. And that's exactly where the science of the data comes into picture. Okay, so we are trying to exploit the insights from the data. That's where data science comes into picture. Well, If you imagine the scenario, maybe around, just a second, what's wrong over here? I'll just unplug this and plug it again. Okay. If you imagine the scenario which is just around 15 years before, well, 15 years before, there were no concept of smartphones, right? So we didn't have any concept of smartphone. So we did not have our Gmail inbox that much popular. In fact, the internet also was not very popular 15 years before. Whereas if you consider the scenario now, we have a lot of data. And second thing which was not available apart from these things is we did not have good amount of computing power around 15 years back. Whereas today we have huge GPUs, TPUs available for our processing. At the same time, we have huge amount of data that can be stored very sufficiently. And that is the reason the role of data science comes. So today, everyone is behind data science. You go to YouTube and certainly you'll be seeing some ad on data science. You belong to any domain, you will always be instigated to learn data science because that is going to be the future. And let me tell you, friends, data science is going nowhere for next 20 to 25 years. Certainly, there could be saturation in this field, but if you are one of the best, no one can stop you. See, today things have changed. We are becoming, in fact, the software industry is becoming purely, I just talk of this thing, software industry is becoming skill oriented. So it is very important for you to upgrade yourself, and that's exactly where we come into picture. So you have to keep on upgrading yourself, and if you have skills, saturation should not be a barrier for you. But if you don't have the skills, then of course whenever a layover is being announced by company, you will be among the first one to be kicked off. So you have to decide your future. How much efforts are you ready to put in to dive into any field of your choice, not only data science. Data science, yes, is going to give you a good career growth. But if you dive into any field of your career, one thing is very important, that you have to always keep on updating yourself. The moment if you stop updating, you are out. See, it is basically, there is a mountain. If you are over here, you update yourself, you reach here. You update yourself, you reach here. If you walk, even if you walk slowly up the mountain, it's fine. The moment you stop, your backward journey starts, because you start to glide down automatically. And everyone who is moving slowly ultimately keep on going up. But the moment you stop learning, it's gone. So we are living in the era where, let's say if you are working 8 hours a day, you have to spend at least 1 hour every day in learning something new. If you want to be at par with everyone, if you always want to be among the most demanded person in the industry, then yes, you have to be continuously in the phase of learning. Okay, unless and until you don't learn, you will be out of the market. So that's applicable for everything. So that's all about data science, the importance of data science. What I am going to teach over here, I'm certainly sure you might have gone through the contents. We have around 700 people, and following are the things that we are going to cover. Well, as I told you, in the first 2 days, we are planning to cover these all things. And in the last 2 days, okay, so these are going to be my first 2 days, and these are going to be my last 2 days. Okay. Well, data science versus machine learning, let's not get into that right now. Who was it? Krutik. Okay, it is very important for us to initially understand what is data, what is the science of data. And the moment you understand data completely, then machine learning is like you are moving from level number 0 to level number 1. Then after machine learning, you learn natural language processing, that's like moving to level number 2. And after you complete with NLP, you can go to deep learning or image augmentation side, maybe computer vision side, or you can go into reinforcement learning, something like that. So there are going to be a lot of branches over there, but certainly right now data science is all up to moving from basics of Python to analyzing the data and getting the insights from it. Okay, so more on it later. As of now, let's get started with the curriculum. So as I told you, my dear friends, well, what is Python? Well, first of all, first thing which I understand about Python is a programming language. Yes, it is a programming language. And you know what is the best part of Python? First and foremost, Python is open source. If you know other languages like Java, well, Java is not an open source programming language. So if you have to use Java, you have to purchase the licensed version. Just like we have to purchase the licensed version of Windows, similarly, you have to purchase the licensed version of softwares like Java and few others. Well, Python has an advantage, it is open source. And the second advantage of Python is that Python is very much easy to read. For example, okay, for example, let us say if someone tells me a simple mathematical problem, maybe a question is given to me in my 6th standard maths paper, which says that given A is equal to 5, B is equal to 2, what is the addition of A and B? So the question is pretty simple. It says given A is equal to 5, B is equal to 2, what is the addition of A and B? And when a question like this comes, we simply say that given A is equal to 2, A is equal to 5, B is equal to 2, I say that A plus B is going to be is equal to 5 plus 2. Let me have the answer over here as this. I'll store it over here. And then we used to put something like this, that yes, C is equal to 5. Well, my dear friends, if you got to do the same thing in Python, Python program simply says over here, how do I convert this entire thing into a Python program? A is equal to 5. And I say B is equal to 2. C is equal to A plus B. Yes, my dear friends, this is how you write a Python program. So you can see how easy it is to read a Python program. A equal to 5, B is equal to 2, C is equal to A plus B. And if I want to print the value of C, I just have to write print C. So since I want something to be printed, I write print C, and the output of that is going to be is equal to 7. Okay, so that's how we are going to use my Python. Second point which I want to highlight over here about Python, the second point, I'll just write it over here. Well, who invented Python? Well, Python was invented by the person who is called as Guido von Awesome. By the way, the name doesn't come from the snake. Okay, it is not coming from the snake. Okay, many people are like, is Python having some kind of relevance or resemblance with the snake? That is the reason is the name like that? No, no, no. Well, I'll tell you the main thing behind that. Well, there was a comedy show, and the name of the comedy show was called as Flying Circus. Okay, this comedy show was directed by the person whose name was Monty Python. By the way, Rossum was a huge fan of this comedy show, Flying Circus. And just to show his token of gratitude towards the director of the show, he happened to label the language itself as Python. Okay, so this language itself was being labeled as Python. That is the kind of say respect he has paid to that particular person called as Monty Python. So these are the advantages of having learning Python. Vijaya, I think you should go to the curriculum you'll get all the details over here. I cannot spend more time in explaining you what is the curriculum. You have this link with you. Suggest you to go through this and find out all the things, okay, rather than just pointing out anything. Go through this link and then you can point it out. That would be best. Okay, let's go ahead now. Which software are we going to use? You just have to go to Google and type over here Anaconda download and press enter. Type Anaconda download and press enter and click on the first link, individual edition. Well, in this product, once again, you go to individual edition. And if you scroll down a bit, you can see over here, there is a download button. Click on this and observe what happens. So I'm clicking on it right now and automatically it scroll down to the bottom. You need not, it will go automatically. And then depending upon whichever operating system you are using, whether it is 62-bit or 64-bit or 32-bit, you can download it. If you are a Mac user, well, I'm not a Mac user, so I don't know, but you can download it, and the same for Linux user as well. Windows 10 users can download this as the latest version. Okay, the latest version is Python 3.8 as of now, which comes in the Anaconda. Whereas 3.9 is also available, but that is available only with basic Python, not with Anaconda. Anyways, we don't care about that. Now, what you are going to do over here is, this is what I have downloaded as far as my system is concerned. Okay. Now, again, the people I see over here, someone is asking, why is the name Anaconda? Well, there is absolutely no story behind it. Just because one language is named as Python, they labeled the second as Anaconda, the third one as Spider, but that's okay. These are nothing but the IDEs, Integrated Development Environment. Now, moment you install this, well, what are you going to do? You are just going to click on this. After click, you are going to download this 466 MB file. And once this thing is downloaded, well, you just have to click on this exe file which is downloaded and do not do anything other than clicking on the next button. Keep on clicking the next button unless and until asked. It will take around 15 to 20 minutes for the entire installation, and at the end you have to click on the finish button. In between, do not check any ticks over there. No, don't do anything. Everything will go by default. Okay, just say next. And the same thing is applicable even if you are using any other operating system. You have to simply download it and next. Well, the moment you download it and press next, my advice, which I usually do when I install a big software, is I restart the system. It's okay if you don't restart, but advisable. Okay, then what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to press my Windows key on the system. And how am I going to launch it? Well, I'll tell you. Okay, I have a folder created over here. As you can see over here, there is a folder which is created in my E drive. Okay, here. Specifically, if you observe, I am in E drive, ebooks, data science. Observe this procedure very carefully because everyone is going to use the same thing. So, ebooks, data science, Python, LetsUpgrade, data science essential. Well, you can make folder anywhere you want. As you can see that I have my data science essential folder created somewhere over here. Okay, and whatever we are going to do, I'm going to work in this folder only. So I want to open my software at this location. So I'm going to copy this link. I select over here, right click. I'll be explaining this only once, okay? So observe over here, right click and copy. Now I say, I'm going to press this Windows key and I will say, I'm typing Anaconda. So you can see at the bottom, I typed ANAC only and automatically the suggestions came up. Well, I have to click the first one, Anaconda prompt. And just wait for it. Okay. Now, as you can see, by default, it is in C directory. And where is my folder? My folder is in E directory. So I say over here CD. CD stands for change directory. I want to change the directory, and I right click and I say paste. I have my path pasted and I press enter. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, sometimes it doesn't happen. Usually it happens, but in case if it doesn't happen, as you can see it right now, just type over here E colon and press enter. So now we are in the path where we want. Now, my dear friends, which software am I going to use? Well, I have multiple IDEs available for working on this. The first one that we have is called as Jupyter Notebook. One more which we have, which we call as Spider. Third one, which we don't have inside this, but that is called as PyCharm. And the list is endless. Well, you can use any IDE of your choice. I am going to use Jupyter Notebook, and that is the reason I am following this procedure. If you want to use Spider, you can. If you want to use PyCharm, you can. I will be using throughout this course Jupyter Notebook because this is certainly very easy and better whenever it comes to a data science problem. So since I want to use Jupyter Notebook, I'm just going to go over here and type Jupyter Notebook. Well, what is Jupyter Notebook? Jupyter Notebook is a web-based interface. Observe what happens when I click enter. So now I have typed till here and I'm pressing enter. Video is not clear. I don't think so. That should be the problem. Well, is there any problem at such Shoaib? Video not clear?
No, sir, it is
Shoaib or
perfect.
perfect, right? Okay. So it may be buffering at your end due to a weaker connection. Thank you very much, Shoaib. Okay. So my dear friends, if you observe, which folders can you see over here? This browser was automatically selected because it is my default browser and we see this open, right? If you observe, it automatically did all of the processing when I did type Jupyter Notebook, and I was redirected to my browser. Okay. If the default browser is not selected, it will ask you which browser do you wish to open, Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer, something like that. Well, mine is default selected as Google this Chrome, therefore I need not give any choice. Okay. So after that, well, what do you see over there? Project, PUBG, PUBG all, PUBG wallpaper. If I go over here, I see the same folders: project, PUBG, PUBG all, PUBG wallpaper. Ignore the IPYNB checkpoint folder as of now. So I am pretty sure that yes, I am open in this particular path. Well, let us start with the basics now. So I say, if I want to create a new coding environment, I go over here, click on new. Okay. Srijit, I made it very clear. We have endless environments available. You can use any one of your choice. There is absolutely no question to ask the same thing again and again. Made it very clear. You use any environment of your choice. Why is there a debate on this particular thing? You use vcode or we use any other environment of your choice. I am perfectly fine with it. What is important is it should go here. Okay, that's important. Fair. So now, and please have a habit of learning new things. That's exactly what I told you at the start. Just because you are comfortable with vcode or just because someone is comfortable with pycharm doesn't mean that you should not learn something new. Okay, so rather than spamming by unnecessary things, I think you should focus on what is going on over here. Okay, getting it perfectly? Yes. So now I have zoomed it a bit. Now I go over here in new and I say I want to create a Python 3 file. So I'm clicking over here on Python 3. Automatically a new file would be created. So hold on, it doesn't take so long, but sometimes it may. I'll just new and Python 3. What is wrong? It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. I don't know why is it taking so much time, but don't worry, Bubbly. We are beginner. That is also fine. You'll understand everything. Why is it still loading, loading, loading? It never takes so time. Wait a minute. I'll just once again launch it. I quit this. I go over here in my black path and I say I'm going to once again launch my Jupyter notebook. It's open. I go to new and I say create a new Python 3 notebook for me. As I told you, it doesn't take time and it's open. Let me rename it by some new thing. I say this is going to be my sorry, there was a call. I'll just disconnected it and okay. I say over here LU data science essentials B1. Okay, and this is going to be my basics notebook. So I say basics. Well, if you go in this particular tab, you can see over here this is being created. And if you go to the folder, here also you should see that this notebook is being created. And one more thing which you should note over here is what is the default extension of this? Default extension is .ipynb. Well, py stands for Python, nb stands for notebook, and I stands for, well, let me tell you, Jupyter Notebook was earlier labeled as IPython. So it was earlier known as IPython, and that is the reason the extension I still remains. So it is IPynb, IPython Notebook. And you can see over here that everything we code is going to be in this particular folder. Similarly, wherever your folder is located, you are going to follow the same approach. So now we are going to follow this only. So this is open. Let's go over here. And as I told you, look at the way Python works. If I simply write 1 plus 1 over here, if I have to execute this cell, I just have to press Shift Enter. One way is I can click on this run. If I click on this run, you can see over here, I get the output. Similarly, if I say 2 multiplied by 9, I can once again click on the run, or once I'm done typing, I can simply press Shift Enter. I am saying that I am going to press Shift Enter. Shift Enter is going to do what? It is going to execute the current cell and add a new cell. Well, this is called as a cell. This is called as a cell. So when I go over here and I press Shift Enter, you can see over here, I get the output and a new cell is being added. Similarly, if I say 2 star star 3, well, in Python, star star means raised to. Okay, sorry, I did click something wrong. In Python, if I say star star operator is called as exponentiation operator. So if I say 2 star star 3, that means what is 2 raised to 3, which is 8 as expected. So I click over here and I press Shift Enter and I get the things as expected. Perfect. Now, if I have to print something, okay, let's say I want to print hi, let's upgrade. So I say over here, I'm going to write print. So print is a function. Whatever you want to print over here, you just have to write inside print and inside double quotes. So whatever you write in the print function inside double quotes will be printed as it is. So if I say hi, let's upgrade. So as you can see, I get the output over here. Maybe if I say print hi version, you can see it's get printed as it is. If I say print I am fine, how are you, it gets printed as it is. Similarly, I like to show you one more thing. Well, inside print, if you see over here that I am fine and how are you are getting printed on the same line. I am fine and how are you are getting printed on the same line. What happens if I write n over here? Okay, if I execute this thing, you can see over here, as I told you, everything which is written in double quotes gets printed over here. Even my n got printed. But instead of this n, if I just add, okay, previously I had written n, but instead of this n, if I add this, well, this is called as backslash n. So if I happen to write over here backslash n, just observe, my dear friends, what happens when I press shift enter over here. Well, it goes to a new line. So n is written as it is nothing special. If n is written as it is, nothing special. But the moment I have a backslash before n, tells that backslash n has a meaning which says that go to a new line. Well, this backslash is called as an escape sequence. Backslash is called as an escape sequence in Python. What does that mean? Well, it means that any character which is going to follow this backslash, any character which is going to follow this backslash has a special meaning. That is, if you write backslash n, the special meaning is saying that go to a new line. Similarly, if someone writes backslash t, it means a tab. For example, if I just show you over here, if I take the same thing and paste it over here, but instead of backslash this, I say backslash t, you can see there is a tab left in between. Okay, so these are called as escape sequences. So I simply say over here that these are my special things. Now let's say if I want to add something in between, I can just click on this cell. If I want to add something in between 7 and 8 line, this is 7 and this is 8. I click on 7 and I click on this plus. New cell is added. And there are 4 types of the cells: code, markdown, raw NB, and heading. Well, the by default one is code cell. I'm going to convert it to raw NB cell. Well, the moment I convert it to raw NB cell, well, I say over here, escape sequences are backslash n means new line. I'll explain this. And backslash t means. Now, as you can see, I have typed my normal English things over here. And if I press shift enter now, nothing happens, because this thing, whatever you did wrote, okay, whatever you have written over here, all of this thing, what is the type of the cell? Raw NB. Well, raw NB cell is going to consider this particular text cell as a text file, precisely something like our .txt file. So everything you type over here is going to be my normal English. So this will not be executed. Whereas you just observe over here that if I take this cell and if I have clicked on this particular cell and if I convert it to code cell and if I try to execute it by shift enter, it is going to give me errors because this is not a Python coding thing. This is normal English. So if I want to write any text in between, I will convert this to raw NB cell so that I can write any documentation in between. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So now let's go ahead. So we understand how are we using the prints thing over here. Now coming on to our program for addition, I'm just going to say and I say program to perform addition of two numbers. As you can see, this is nothing but my raw NB cell. So nothing is going to happen. Let me write the program over here. As I told you, I can say over here A is equal to 5. On the next line, I say B is equal to 3. On the next line, I say C is going to be is equal to A plus B. And on the next line, what do I say? Well, if you remember, what did I tell you? Print statement. If I write anything in double quotes, in print statement, if I write anything in double quotes, it gets printed as it is. So, my dear friends, I have done the same thing over here. And that is the reason I get the output over here like this. Because I told you that anything you write in double quotes will be printed as it is. You know what happens over here? Well, what happens over here is variable A would be created in the memory and 5 gets stored inside this. That's happening in my line number 1. My line number 2 says create a variable B and store 3 inside it. That's done. Third line says create a variable C and that is going to store addition of this and this. That's done. But on line number 4, when you say print C in double quotes, it is going to print C as it is. I don't want to do that. I want to print the value which is inside this particular box. And if you have to do that particular thing, you have to simply, instead of saying this, you have to say over here, print C. So now you can see over here, it has printed the value of C. So you try to understand the difference in between the two. In the print function, every time you write anything in double quotes, it will be printed as it is. If you want to print the value inside this, you have to write it like this. Well, that brings me, what if I write print A and what if I write print B? You can see over here that print C has printed C as it is. Print A has printed 5 because the value of A is 5. Print B has printed 3 because this is this. And print C has printed A plus B, which is 5 plus 3, which is equal to 8. Okay. So, yes. Yes, Aisha, raw in B is acting as a comment. Yes, perfectly fine. Now, having understood this, well, let me tell you, I will like to tell you few things over here. The first thing is, as I told you on my line 1, 2, and 3, what happened over here is something like this is going to happen, something like this is going to happen, something like this is going to happen. Well, let me tell you over here that there is a concept of variables in Python. What are variables? My A, B, and C over here are called as variables. And you see over here, there is one more concept of constants. What are constants? The values which are stored inside the variables are called as constants. So in this case, 5, 3, and 8 are the constants. Okay. So what I can do over here is I can think of documenting all of these things. So I can say over here that I say A is a variable and phi is a constant. And the moment I try to execute this cell, I again get an error. The moment I try to execute this cell, I get an error because what happens over here is Python says that, okay, from here to here, I understand that, yes, it is a code cell. Okay, from here to here, I understand that it is a normal programming statement. From here to here, we understand it is a programming statement. But what is this? This is something which is as good as useless to me because this is something which is written in normal English. So what I want to do specifically is I want to write this, but at the same time, I want to tell to my Python interpreter that please ignore this underline part. Well, how can we do it? I can do it by using something which is called as comments in Python. comments in Python are simply done by using the hash key. Okay, so I hope we are in the full screen only, right? Yes, we are in the full screen. That's going to take the time, right? That's going to take the space. We cannot avoid that, but this is the maximum thing that we can do. Perfect. So I simply write a hash over here. Okay, I simply type the hash. Did you observe the moment I did type a hash, the color of this is going to change. I type hash, the color of this changes. And now if I execute it using this, you can see over here, everything gets executed. Precisely what happens is everything after this hashtag is considered as a comment, and comments are the set of lines which are ignored. So if you start writing anything till the end of this line, everything is going to be ignored. Okay, everything over here will be ignored. So these are called as comments. They are very useful because in code we want to perform documentation. Every time I cannot add a raw NB cell, so I can take advantage of this. So I can just come down and say hash. I say over here that my b is a variable, and in that case my 3 is a constant. So all of this thing, as you can see in the comments, are ignored. Now, one thing which I want to tell you about the print function full and final. Okay. Yes. Yes. Hash is for comment in Python. So one final thing which variable is a value, identifier is the name given to it. Yes. Perfect. Anyways, these all are definitions, not very important. We are directly going to use it. Nothing as such to be so much gone into the depth of it. Let's go ahead. The next one which I want to tell you is yes. I want to take the same thing. So let me say A is equal to 2. I say B is equal to 3. And I say C is equal to A plus B. And print C. We know the answer, right? Absolutely fine. We know the answer. But now I say that I'm not satisfied with the way this answer is shown to me. I don't want to see just 5 over here. We know, right? A is being initialized to 2. We know that B has been initialized to 3 and C has been initialized to 5. But I don't want the answer to be like this. I want the answer to be something like this. Addition is 5. This is what I want. Well, I will like to tell you some things over here. If you observe, we want everything from here to here to be printed as it is. Whatever is written in this blue box has to be printed as it is. Well, we know, right? If we want anything to be printed as it is, that takes me to the start of the notebook. If I want to print anything as it is, I have to use double quotes. So let me first of all plan to print this blue box. So I say over here, in this double quotes, I simply say addition is, oh yes. So I am very happy to see that yes, this blue box is printed. So whatever I want to print as it is, I get it. So first half part of the print is done. What is the next thing that we have to do? Well, I have to print 5. Okay. Now I say over here, I want to print C after this. And the moment I press Control Enter, as you can see, we get an error. That is because what happens inside print is it considers this part as string and this part also as string. If you really want to separate this out, these two strings can be simply separated out by a comma. So comma inside the print function is acting as a concatenation operator. Addition equal to and C will be joined together with the help of comma. So now if you see the execution, you can see these things are joined together. So comma is very important. If you forget that, that would be skipped. Addition is 5. So now even if I change the value of 3 to 5 and 2 to, let's say, 25, and I execute this particular thing, no wonder I'll be getting the answer as expected. Addition is 30. Perfect. Now, One last thing, and then the print function would be totally complete. So we are not going to come to print function once again. So okay, okay, this is asking me that what if you give print with single quotes, will it be printed as it is? It will print a space, okay, which you can see. I suggest that you try this on your own because we have a lot to be covered in the short hours. Everything certainly is not possible to be covered in data science essential programs. Our main aim over here is to move into data science rather than spend a lot of time in Python. So all of this thing, what is going to happen in that, what is going to happen in this scenario? Well, you have this notebook with you, you have the Anaconda setup with you. I suggest you please try it. Okay, fair enough. Now, the next thing which I want to be printed is something like this. Last thing which I want to print is addition of A is equal to 25, or let's say, let me change it. A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 3 is C is equal to 5. Well, I'm going to change the values over here. That's going to be 2 and that's going to be 3. But I don't want the addition output to be printed like this, that addition is equal to 5. I want it to be printed as addition of A equal to 2 and B is equal to 3 is C is equal to 5. What we do over here is, I'll first of all like to demarcate the thing which has to be printed as it is. Well, everything from here to here has to be printed as it is. And thereafter, I want the value inside the variable A to be printed. Then I want everything from here to here to be printed as it is. And I want the value inside the variable B to be printed. And I want everything from here to here to be printed as it is. And then I want the value inside the variable C to be printed. Well, that brings me to type all of this thing. I say over here, addition of A equal to, the moment I write this, I see my first blue box is ready. Then I say, I want to concatenate, therefore I put a comma. With that, the value inside the variable called as A. So I see over here, addition of A equal to 2 is there. After this, I want to further concatenate something as it is. When I say as it is, it has to come inside double quotes. So I say over here, I want to concatenate. So I type a comma over here. And in double quotes, I say and B is equal to. When I execute it, you can see that this much part is ready. After that, I want to concatenate the value of B. So I say comma B. And now I get B is equal to 3. Then I want to concatenate this blue box, since it is to be printed as it is, that's in double quotes. So I say over here, comma, is C is equal to, so that gets printed as it is, and then I say comma C. So now I get the output as expected. Okay. Similarly, now even if I change the value of A to 20 and B to, let's say, 300, and if I execute this thing, you can see over here, addition of A is equal to 20 and B is equal to 300 is C is equal to 320. Well, that is how you do any print in the print function. Okay, in Python, this is how you can do versatility with the print. Well, are the things clear so far? Any questions so far? Any question you think you have so far, please mention it. If it is clear, please type a yes in the chat section. Are the things clear so far? Any questions from your side? Well, if you have any questions as what is going to happen if I write this instead of that, then that I always suggest that you try at your own end. Okay, but any questions so far? Not related to the assignments and all, not at the moment. I'm just asking with respect to the teaching which is going on. Perfect. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. In the print function, C is string or as integer? C is string. In the print function, C is string. I'll come to that. I'm coming to the data types, but not at the moment. clear, very clear. Yes, in C it is string. I'll come to that, Avinash. Don't worry on that particular part. Perfect. Now, well, we completed with this. Now we have to start with data types as the second one, keywords and identifiers as the third one. Okay, and then we move on to the conditional statements. So I say over here, let us start with the data types over here. So well, let me tell you that in Python, if I write anything in numerical form, for example, if I have something like any number which is from 0, maybe 10, 100, minus 45, any number which is like a whole number, Python calls it as integer data type. Any number which is in points, maybe something like this, or 45.0, all of these are called as float data type. If you write anything in single quotes, that is considered as a string data type. Or even if you write anything in double quotes, that is also considered as a string data type. Okay, so how to check that? Well, if I say a is equal to 10 and I say print for me a, well, it is going to print the value of a. Okay, but if I want to check the type of a, I simply say there is one more function available which is called as type. Type function is going to tell me the data type. So the moment I execute that, as I told you, my dear friends, it is called as an integer data type. Okay, so I can simply write in short what is type of 10. So you can see it is integer. So let me keep on reusing, or then I say what is going to be type of 2 point some point value. This is a float data type. Similarly, if I say what is the type of minus something point something, okay, we are going to just put it in the brackets. It is called as float. Similarly, if I say what is type of double quotes, it is darshan. If I say type of in single quotes, if I say LetsUpgrade, for Python, you write in double quotes or you write in single quotes, it is one and the same. But if you start with double quotes, it has to end with double quotes. And if you start with single quotes, it has to end with single quotes only. Okay, they are called as string data types. Well, apart from that, yes, I have something which is called as Boolean data type also. What is a Boolean data type? The Boolean data type holds only two values. One is true, one is false. How do I do it? Well, I can simply say what is the type of true. You can see, observe over here, true has a different color. It is a Boolean data type. Similarly, if I say what is the type of false, is a Boolean data type. Well, Python also has a complex data type. Okay, it can also have complex number. So I can have a complex number, maybe a is equal to 2 plus 3j. I can have a complex number b is equal to 5 plus 6j, and I can say over here print for me a plus b. Well, this printing can be done over here like this also. I need to store it into a simple some other variable. So what happens over here is 2 plus 3j has to be added with 5 plus 6j, 6, 7, 8, 9j, plus 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 9j should be the output of A and B, and that's exactly what you see it. Perfect. So we have so many data types in Python. Okay. Now, apart from that, yes, we also have keywords in Python. Well, what are keywords? Well, there is something which is called as keywords in Python. Well, keywords are the words whose meaning is already known to the Python interpreter. What I mean by that? See, my dear friends, when I did say to Python that print in double quotes version, well, print is something which was already known to the Python interpreter. That is the reason it worked, right? If I say print version, printed that. But if I say type for me version, does it print it? No. If I just get rid of this space, does it print me? No, because we clearly understand over here that the meaning of print is already being understood by Python interpreter. Python knows what is print. Python doesn't know this. Similarly, keywords. Keywords are going to be the words whose meaning is already known to the Python interpreter. So what all are the keywords? I'll just like to list it. Okay. Don't take the code too seriously at the moment. Okay. I say import keyword. Don't take the code too seriously. You can just consider it as some magical codes. I'm just using it for printing all the keywords. So I say over here keyword dot. Don't take the code too seriously. I'm just using it for printing the keywords. Okay. So as you can see over here, following are the keywords. False is the keyword. Yes, we have seen false. The meaning of false is already known to the Python interpreter. True is again one more keyword which we have seen. And apart from that, we have not seen any other keyword. But yes, we are certainly going to see it very soon. Well, how many such keywords are there? Well, following is the code to get the keywords. If I want to find the total number of keywords, I simply say length of this. So in Python, there are 35 keywords. Okay. And all of these meanings are understood to the Python interpreter. Well, if you are not convinced, try typing this keyword. So I say, observe the color of this. It clearly gives an indication that it is a keyword. Similarly, if I type a keyword like while, observe the color. And the moment if I say while one, it is not a keyword. It has become like a variable name. If it is while, it is going to be a keyword. So keywords are the words whose meaning is already understood to the Python interpreter. Well, are the things clear so far? If yes, please reply with a yes. Because now we have to start with data types. Any questions so far, please reply with a yes. If you have no doubts, if you have any doubts, yes, you are most welcome to ask it. Are the keywords case sensitive? Yes. In fact, entire Python is case sensitive. No doubts. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. All clear. Thank you very much. All clear. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Understood. Update. Perfect. That's fantastic. Okay. Yes, Rohit, I already told you that Python is case sensitive. Siroj is saying I'm watching it from Uzbekistan. Wow, fantastic. What is the time over there? Siroj, what is the time over there in Uzbekistan? Perfect. So, yes, Dinesh, you can definitely use true in small cases, but I suggest why to do all those stupid things. The reason I'm calling this as a stupid activity is we have other variable names, right? You can create a variable name by some other name also. Why to use the same thing? Why to create a conflict later on? Okay, it is not a good programming practice. So therefore, I advise that use the keyword names which are intuitive, which are easy to understand by looking at the name of the variable itself. For example, no, you cannot print it as a variable. You just cannot print it. But yeah, if you say over here that print while, yes, that is certainly allowed. Okay, yeah, it's near Russia, we know it. Perfect. So when it comes to our advanced program of data science, at that time we cover all of this thing in much more detail. But over here, we have to give it as a power pack to all of you. And let me tell you over here, after every day session, we have assignments. And only those students will be qualified for our advanced program. So if you are able to complete the assignments on time, fill the attendance form, then only you become eligible for the advanced program. Okay, so whatever you study, you will be having a assignment based on this, and accordingly you will have to take your call. Perfect. Ashok is saying, sir, your communication is excellent. Yeah, thank you very much, Ashok. Manjunath is saying, sir, is it full data science course or only Python programming class? Manjunath, why don't you go through the curriculum which is mentioned on the website? Everything is being clearly mentioned over here. So I request you to go over here. There is a Python dictionary. When will you get all those built-in keywords? Yes. Yes, Python is an object-oriented language, Madhuri. The previous example, C is integer, but in C is string. Yes, how? Because the output of the print function is the string. See, I'll tell you. When I say over here, let's say C is equal to 45, and then I say print for me C. Well, it prints me 45. Okay, and if I say print for me type of C, okay, observe over here. If I say print for me type of C, it is going to be integer. Okay, type of C is integer, but if I say, observe this very carefully, I simply say that whatever you print, I want the type of this. Well, it is a none type. Okay, the output of this is going to be a none type. And if you really want to understand, print this is how it works. Okay, so whatever thing is printed by print, it is going to be of none type. Precisely, since we know it, we have gone through the documentation. It is an integer type. Sorry, it is a string type. Okay, therefore you have to put a comma over there. Okay, Nishita is saying, sir, teaching is very good, sir. Thank you very much. How is this? Nirukattu is saying, sir, how this course is useful for MSc data science students. Oh, you are in MSc data science? I also train MSc data science students for the Birla College. Okay, I am training them, and currently I'm teaching their deep learning subject. Yes, we are going to cover the entire data science domain over here, so certainly it is going to be useful for you. In fact, as for getting a job. Okay. What is today's assignment? Well, I don't know what is the assignment for today, because depending on what curriculum I cover in the lecture, I immediately make the assignment and hand it over for uploading to the forum. Okay, so depending upon what I cover, we are going to take it. None is not a type. None is just a we can think none as a, what do you call, not as a data type, but it can be considered as something wherein nothing is there. Okay, so it is just like a keyword. In fact, we saw in keywords also, the very first keyword was none, right? Second one. So none is not a data type. None is a keyword. Perfect. So yes, sir, Sheikh Samir, it is certainly useful in any industry which generates data, be it oil industry, petroleum industry, be it hardware industry, software industry, electronic industry, anywhere we have lot of data, we have the significance of this. Perfect. So now data types which I'll be liking to talk over here. I want to start with data types. Just going to, there's one more thing. If I also label it as markdown, well, I can also have Well, Markdown has a special advantage. If you type a hash over here, Markdown will make it big and bold, which is not available in our raw NB file. If you type in raw NB file this thing and press enter, control enter or shift enter, nothing happens. But if you take this cell, get it converted to Markdown, and if you do this, you get a big bold attribute. Okay, big bold way of doing it. There are few other ways of doing this, but I'm not discussing all that thing. As and when I feel I can take it, I will certainly think of doing all those things. Well, now coming on to the data types, I like to talk of the data types. The first type of data type which I will like to talk of over here is going to be my arithmetic data type. Well, what are arithmetic data type? Well, if I say arithmetic or not data types, I'm sorry, data types is done. We are done. Operators. So first is arithmetic operators. So I can have 2 plus 3. I can have 2 minus 3. I can have 2 star 3. I can have let's say 7 divided by 2. Okay, observe the output. Okay, when I say 7 divided by 2, it is 3.5. That's perfect. Now, if we write codes, the markdown, then everything in comment going to come. No, don't write code in markdown and observe what happens over there. Let me not waste any time over there. You try doing that. You will yourself understand what you have to do in that particular case. Okay. Sir, class upload हो गई क्या बाद में ये class? Yes, it will be available on YouTube. So, my dear friends, what I want to say you over here is, if I say what is 7 divided by 2, the answer comes out to be 3.5. If you have 7, if you go to your school level mathematics, yes, right to your school level mathematics, 7 divided by 2, we used to say that 2 3s are 6. This is, so we are going to call this as my quotient. We are going to call this as the remainder. Well, with the help of division operation, I can get the answer as 3.5. If I want to get the quotient, I just need to write over here as 7 divide 2. Well, my dear friends, let me tell you, divide is called as floor division operator, and it gives us the quotient. So as you can see over here, it has given me the quotient. And similarly, if you want to get the remainder, you need to write 7 modulo 2. So this is called as modulo operator, and this gives me the remainder. Okay, so this is my arithmetic operator. Next is the operator are called as relational operators. Well, relational operators are nothing but less than or less than equal to or greater than equal to or equal to or not equal to. Let us try doing that. So I say I have this print thing, and I say 2 less than 3. If you observe, the output is boolean, right? 2 is less than 3, perfect. If I say 3 is less than 1, output is false. If I say 3 is less than is equal to 5, answer is fine. If I say over here 4 equal to 4, well, that is simply going to check, is the value on this side, okay, is the value on this side equal to the value on this side. Well, if I write a equal to 4, it is like I want to store 4 inside a. But if I write a equal to 4, it is going to compare whether the value over here is equal to the value over here, and that is going to be the error in this case because there is no value assigned to this. So equal to is used for comparing the relational things. So 4 equal to 4 is true. Similarly, if I say phi equal to 4, that's going to be false. But if I say phi is not equal to 4, certainly phi is not equal to 4, and therefore we get the answer as, okay, that's how it is. Now the next thing which we have is my after this membership operator. Okay, there are total 3 membership operator. One is called as is, one is called not is, one is called as in, one is called as not in. Okay, there are 2 types of membership operator. Well, if I say that whether small a is there in version, so in is the operator, and when I execute this, it will say that yes, I see small a in Darshan. Come on, it's as easy to understand from the language itself whether a is there in Darshan, yes or not. Similarly, if I take one more example, if I say is capital A there in Darshan, obviously not. I can also say over here, is small a not in Darshan? Small a is there in Darshan. So therefore the output over here is going to be false. Okay. And apart from this, we can also have something like this. If I say 22 is there in a collection of items, maybe 10, 22, 33, 55, 12, 40. So I get over here. So what is it going to do? It is going to check whether 22 is there in this collection. Well, this collection is called as a list. We are going to come to this very soon. Right now, we can certainly understand that it is going to check whether 22 is there over here, over here, over here. And if it is there, it is going to give me the output as true. Okay. So, perfect. So now, let's go ahead. Now, after understanding all of this thing, the next thing which we will like to take into account is my conditional statements. Okay, so conditional statements and loops. Perfect. Okay, let us look into conditional statements at the moment. Okay, Srinivas is asking how to find the location of A. Madhuri, I saw your question. I suggest, why don't you try doing that? Right, you can try doing all those things. That would be simple. Here we are, and yes, we're talking of what is going to happen. Okay, well, if I say a is equal to 5, well, let me tell you everyone, when I say a is equal to 5, where is this a? A is getting stored something like this. Well, let me tell you, where does it get stored? It gets stored into something which is called as random access memory. Just like today, if I install any app from the Play Store, let's say I want to install Amazon app. If I'm downloading Amazon from the Play Store and I'm installing it in my mobile, well, that gets loaded into the RAM. But do you know where it gets loaded? No, we don't know. We never get to know that. But one thing is sure, that it is loaded into your RAM. Okay. Similarly, when you say a is equal to 5, obviously the RAM could be already occupied with some other contents. I'm not showing all those things over here. But the moment you say a is equal to 5, and if there is space available in your RAM, certainly you can store it over here. Okay, let's say I want to find out where exactly in my RAM is this a located. I can say, what is the ID of a? So as you can see, what is this? Well, this is nothing but the address of a in random access memory in my RAM. Similarly, if I say B is equal to 5 and I now observe something strange is going to happen very soon. Just observe. This is certainly going to print for me. Come on. So now we understand that when I say A is equal to 5, A is stored at, let us say 480 something. I'm not writing everything over here, but obviously some number followed by 480. Similarly, the moment you say B is equal to 5, we are expecting something like this. Okay, so definitely the address over here, which would be assigned to B, is going to be different from the address which is assigned to A. We are expecting something like this, but Python doesn't do that. Let's observe. I execute this, and surprisingly, if you observe, address over here was 480, and here also the address turned out to be 480. So when I asked Python to store B, it did not do something like this. Instead, Python was very much cunning and did something like this. So wherever A is pointing, Python said, let my B also point. What is the advantage? It has saved on the memory. What if I do not change the value of the variables after this? Python says that unless and until user is going to define them with two different values, why should I unnecessarily waste the memory? That's a good way of optimization. Okay. So now what I say is, let me try changing the value. So now I say my B is going to be is equal to, let's say 45, and after changing the value of B, I am once again asking him to print it. Now, if you observe this, what has happened? I happen to change the value of B to 45. Well, the moment I say 45 has to be stored, come on, I cannot overwrite it over here because A is also storing 45. So Python says that now I cannot do this thing which is called a jugad. Now I have to declare it as a separate memory. And as you can see, the address which is assigned over here is 760. Okay, so now it is doing the things as expected. So are you able to get this? I mean, how smartly is Python working with the environment? That is a fantastic thing about Python, and that is the reason it is very popular. Okay, it is doing a lot of memory optimization for us. So unless and until the things are pointing to the same thing, why to waste memory, right? The moment they are pointing to do different things, let's separate it out. Okay, so that's how it is. Perfect. So yes, everything clear so far? Perfect. If yes, please reply with yes. What if B is equal to 5.0? Saba, you can try that, right? Come on, you can try that. I'll just show it to you over here. But certainly, this is not a rocket science. You can certainly try that. If I say I'm changing the value of B to 5.0, well, you can see the address has once again changed. So see, these all are very small things. Don't ask me to do it. I have a lot of content for you to be shared, right? So if you are going to waste our time in doing such small things, well, we will not be able to move ahead. So my simple advice to all of you is, you have the environment, right? I told you how to download the environment. I will also be sharing with you this notebook which I have prepared. You can do all of the trials and errors over there. Why to waste time unnecessarily in doing the trial and error? You can also get the answer to this, right? So ID is the address. Yes, Shreya, ID is the address. VICE, I think WISC. Wise, WISE. So cool. Yeah, it is really very cool. Perfect. Shoaib, can you hear me, Shoaib? Vaibhav,
Yes, sir.
you go through the curriculum rather than asking silly questions. Vaibhav Bhople. Okay. Sure, I think it's a good time to launch the poll because I have to start with the conditional statements after this.
Sure, sir.
Okay, I'll just give instructions to them. Guys, we are launching the attendance form. it is important that all of you fill the attendance form, because your attendance and the assignments are going to be your basic primary steps to appear for the final exam or to be eligible for the final exam. If your attendance is poor and if you're not submitting the assignments on time, which I think the bare minimum is 75%, then you will not be allowed to appear for the exam. So we are circulating the link for the attendance form. Shoaib, you can go for that overlay. You have time of 2 minutes to fill in the attendance form, and then we will once again resume with the session. Shoaib, even I will be back in 2 minutes. Okay, please go through
Sure,
the
sir.
progress and keep updating them to fill it. Shoaib,
Yes, sir.
there was a comment from Himangi Shinde. She is in United States. Did you read that in the chat section?
No, sir. What was it about?
She is saying that since she is in US, which is office time, so she may not be able to attend the live class. So how can she submit the attendance in that case?
You can watch the recorded session and submit the attendance.
Acha, that can be submitted later on also.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect. Please type in the chat also once if possible. Some people are saying it's not working. I don't think there is an issue, guys.
Guys, copy and paste the link. We already have 600 plus responses, 500 responses to the form. The link is working perfectly. Copy the link and paste it in your browser. Do not use MI browsers. That will give an issue. Use Chrome. So 2 more minutes.
Yes, everyone has to fill in the attendance. It is mandatory for you to be eligible for the exam. Without attendance, we will not allow you an entry into the exam. Even though you have attended, you will not be able to appear for the exam, and obviously that means that you won't be eligible to get a certificate after you qualify it. Karthike, we have a mixed audience, so we are going to follow the curriculum, the flow, which is as mentioned on the website for the program. I cannot directly jump into data science without giving any idea of what is basic Python. So we will be following the same flow as it is mentioned in the program's curriculum. Okay, we cannot jump here and there from that. Copy the link and paste it in the Chrome. Okay, if it is not opening from your mobile or something, copy the link, paste it in the Chrome browser, it will open. It's perfectly fine. Today's assignment, you will be receiving it after the session. Where will it be available? In the same link, right? Sure.
In the description, there will be a link, sir, to the drive. You can download it from there.
Okay.
Also, you can check
Hi,
the pinned post on community. It will be there as well.
perfect. Yeah, do have a habit of visiting LetsUpgrade community. Everything is available over there. Okay, that's a very good asset. Visit over there frequently so that you'll be getting all the updates. In fact, any questions related to the assignment, if you are getting stuck up in the assignment, you can always go to the community, post the question, and there will be your entire batch to help you out with how to solve that particular assignment. So it's just like Stack Overflow. You post the question and you get the answer to it. So have a habit of visiting the community. That's going to be very useful for all of you.
Yes, sir, we can continue now.
And continue. Perfect. And toggle the screen. Perfect. So having understood these all things, the next thing is, I'm just going to add a markdown cell, and I say, well, there are conditional statements in Python. The first conditional statement is if, the second is elif, and the third is else. There are three conditional statements in Python. Well, I'm not getting a lot of space to write. I'll just go to view and toggle header. So that goes up. If you want to see it later, once again, view and toggle header, that will come. View, toggle header. I can save it by pressing Ctrl S, and you can see a checkpoint created over here at 21:39. That is the current time right now. Perfect. So now, well, what are conditional statements? Conditional statements are all the ifs and buts we have in our life. For example, I say something like this. I say, if the weather is good, I will go for a movie. Or something like this, I can say, if the weather is, rather than saying as good, if the weather is sunny, I will go for a movie. Else, I will sit at home. Or I can also have something like this. If the weather is sunny, I will go for a movie. else if the weather is rainy, I will go for a long drive. Else I say I will sit at home. Well, yes, this is exactly how we take decisions in our real life, right? Something like, if I propose her and she says no, you will find some other option. As simple as that, right? So that's exactly what happens in case of if and but. In life, whenever we are making or taking decisions, well, we always work on if and then, and the same construct can be pulled into the programming as well. Well, how? For example, let us say, how can I implement my if over here? So I am going to say that let my x be is equal to 5, and look at the syntax over here, how to write the syntax. Well, I purposely wrote it in the same format over here. Did you observe over here there is a colon? Well, why did I write it? Because it is the way of writing it in the Python syntax, and that is the reason we have written it. If good colon, well, colon is a syntax. Let's see how. Let's say over here that if x is equal to 5, I press colon. Now the moment I press enter over here, observe what happens. I press enter and I don't come at the start of it, but I am over here automatically. I'll show it to you once again. I'm over here and I press enter. I don't come to the leftmost margin. I come 4 spaces inside. Well, that is called as indentation in Python. Now, whatever I write over here would be the part of if. That is, if this condition becomes true, following things which are written in this line will be executed. For example, I say over here, int, I say x, comma, or rather I say value of x is equal to, comma, whatever is there in x. And if you observe, it has printed. So what happened over here? Well, there are only 2 lines, line number 1 and line number 2. What happened on line number 1 is it said that x has to be initialized to 5. That happened. Then I checked over here, is 5 equal to 5? Remember the equality operator in relational things? 5 equal to 5, and the answer to that is yes, 5 is equal to 5. Therefore, it went inside the if statement and printed this. Let me show you some variation of it to make it more convincing to you. Now I say I'm going to add one more line. So if I press over here and let's say print, hi, I am Dr. Darshan English. Now, if I execute this thing, it is going to print 2 things along with it. Now, once again, I pressed enter. I'm over here. And if I want to go at the start over here, I just press backspace key and I reach over here. And let's say I am out of statement. Now, when I execute this, what happens in this case is it goes to line number 1, initializes x to 5. On line number 2, it checks whether 5 is equal to 5. Condition is true. If the condition happens to be true, both of these 2 lines would be executed. So it executes value of x is equal to 5. It executes hi, I am Dr. Darshan Ingle. And after this, it will go on to the normal execution, which is I am out of if statement. Well, if this thing is clear to you, let me show you the variation of this. So now what I say is I'm just going to copy paste this thing and I'll just change the value over here. I paste over here and I'm checking the value of x as equal to 15. Now what happens over here is I have my line number 1 which says x equal to 15. Line number 2 is going to compare is 15 equal to 5, and the answer to that is no. If the answer to that is no, this entire thing would be skipped and only my line number 3 would be executed. Because the if condition is false, everything which is in the part of if will get skipped. And that's how we understand the if and else part of it. Now, if else is clear to you, let us go to the next part. Now I say over here, I'm going to say x is equal to 5. Well, what am I going to write over here? Well, this is a program to check if the input number is even or odd. Well, how do you check whether a number is even or odd? If I have a number like, let's say 10. If I say what is 10 modulo 2? 10 modulo 2 is going to give me the 0, right? Because 10 divided by 2, 2 5s are 10, remainder is as 0. And how do you get this remainder? Using the modulo operator. If I have a number like 12, if I take modulo 2 of it, I get the remainder as 0. So if I have in general any even number is going to say that number modulo 2 is going to be is equal to 0 for even numbers. And similarly, if I have a number like 13 modulo 2 is going to give me as 1. If I say I have a number like 29 modulo 2 is going to give me the number as 1. So if it is an odd number, we understand over here that my number modulo 2 is going to be is equal to 1, right? So what we do over here is I say x is equal to 5. Now I say over here, if my x, observe how I write, if my x modulo 2 is equal to 0 colon, I print over here that x is an even number. Else colon, again I say print, I say x is a odd number. Now when I execute this, since the value was equal to 5, it printed me that x is an odd number, right? Come on, you can see over here how many lines do we have precisely. We have line number 1, and this entire thing is line number 2. So it has initialized x to 5. It checks, is 5 modulo 2 equal to 0? No, 5 modulo 2 is not equal to 0. So this part is going to be skipped. And of course, since this is skipped, the else part of it gets executed. This x is an odd number. Well, let us try it with some other value. So what I say over here is, I'll just get rid of all these things, and I simply say over here is, instead of doing these all things, I say why not try with value of maybe 59. Moment we do that, it means 59 is an odd number. 59 modulo 2 is equal to 0. No, and it goes to else part and it says that it is an odd number. And if I do the same thing, maybe with a number like 60, what happens over here is 60 modulo 2 is equal to 0. It executes this. If this is executed, this would be skipped. Come on, we have to understand that if else condition is like, if I think of going for a movie, I'm not going to sit at home. How can I be there at both of the places? These are mutually exclusive events, right? If I am going for a movie, I cannot be at home. If I am at home, I cannot go for a movie. So either this or that. That's exactly what we understand in this if else scenario. Fair enough. Now, having understood that, let us understand the very last one, which is called as if else. So I say over here that let my x be is equal to 35. I say if x is greater than 35, I'm going to say over here that print for me that x is greater than 35. I say else if. Well, else if is not written as else if, it is written as elif in Python, and that's the reason I just made you familiar with this. The Python says else if, for me is elif. I like abbreviations. So elif x is less than 35, I print over here the same thing. So let me just copy this. Why to waste my energy? I print over here x is less than 35, else I say print over here x is equal to 35. Now if I try to execute this statement, to observe over here, I have line number 1 and this entire thing is my line number 2. So if you observe over here, x is equal to 35 happens something like this. Then I say 35 greater than 35, no. So this part gets skipped. Then it checks 35 less than 35, no. So this part also gets skipped. And after this, there is no other option left, but it is going to print that 35 is equal to 35. So if I execute this particular thing, and see over here, it has printed 35 is equal to 35. Similarly, let us say if I take a value over here like 350. Now what is going to happen over here is 350 greater than 35? Yes. So this condition is true. Therefore, this part gets executed. Since this part is getting executed, everything after this gets skipped. And if you observe the output of this is 350 is greater than 35. And the last one, let's say the value over here is just 3. Now you all might have certainly realized it. It is going to check is 3 greater than 35? No. So this gets skipped. It is going to check is 3 less than 35? Yes. So this will be printed and this would be skipped because it is like I have 3 choices of which only one can be true at a time. So now it is going to print for us that 3 is less than 35. Okay, so that's all about my if else questions. Perfect. So that's where my if else session goes on. Next one, 952. Well, yeah, what is the next thing that we have over here is loops and input output in Python. Now the next thing that we can do is input output in Python. So let me say input. Well, we know output in Python, right? We have specifically to see input in Python. Well, I say I want to take anything as input. What I used to do over here, I used to say over here something like this, and then I say print for me, and I used to say that space comma x. So when you execute this, I used to get x is 5. When if I change the value to 589 and I execute this, I used to get the output as x is 59. Okay, 589. Now I don't want this thing to happen. I want to take the input from the user because I cannot share the code with the client every time. And for that, we just use a very simple function which is called as input function. Yes, you just need to type over here input and yes, you all are done. Now when you execute this, as you can see a box prompts over here. At the same time, if you observe, there is a star over here which indicates that it is waiting for you to give the input. If I give the input over here as 55 and I press enter, well, this is what I did inputted, and this is the output of my print function which says x is 55. Well, if I execute it once again, and this time if I give the value as 19, it will give x is 19. If I execute it once again, and if I give the input as darshan, it will say x is darshan. Whatever input you give is going to be coming over here. So let me try. So I say x is equal to, I'll show you one more way of using this. Input says that I can give you a more beautiful way of using it. So I say I can type over here. So I can say enter the value of x, and I say over here copy paste this thing. If I execute this, as you can see, it is asking me enter the value of x. So just like print function, whatever I write in double quotes inside it, it will be printed. So now the user will understand, okay, what is expected as the input to this. So enter the value of x. So I say let it be 15, and I execute it, I get this answer. If I execute it once again, enter the value, and let's say I say let's upgrade, and it is going to say that x is let's upgrade. So certainly we understand how is this things working. Now, one thing which we want to do over here is perform addition. So I say over here that let my number one be is equal to input enter first number, and number two is equal to input enter second number. And then I say addition is going to be is equal to number one plus number two, and I say print addition is comma. Now if I execute this, I can take input at runtime from the user. I say enter, and I enter the first number. So let's say the first number which I enter is 75. Perfect. So we know what happens over here. A variable called as n01 would be created and 75 would be inserted over here. Then a variable 2 called as this would be created. Let us say I'm inserting 25 over here. So obviously I insert 25. Now after performing enter over here, which I have not at the moment I perform enter, another variable called as add would be created, which is going to store 100. And when I say print this, it has to print for me addition is 100. Excuse me. Okay, sorry. So has to print for me this. So I go over here and I press enter. The output expected is addition is 100. So I press enter over here now. Oh, I am not getting the answer as 100. Instead, if you observe, the output is 75 as the first number, 25 as the second number. Precisely what I see over here is the concatenation of these two numbers as the output. Let us try to introspect what happens. So what happened exactly over here, I'm trying to introspect. So I'm just going to add a cell over here, and for that, well, I'm going to say that x is equal to input enter input. Okay, and I say print for me x, and print for me type of x. When I do this, if I give the input, let's say as 100, or let's say I give an input as 75, and I press enter, that is the problem. Moment you entered the value of x, as you can see, the entered value was 75. It got printed also as 75. But when I check the type of this, I get the type as string. You know why? Because the input function in Python is trained in such a way that whatever you accept over here, always store it as string. Always store it as string. And when you do such an operation, what happens over here is, let's say if I have a string over here, let us say I have string 1, let us say string 1 which is storing version, and I have string 2 which is sharing is trainer at LetsUpgrade. If I say print for me S1 plus S2, okay, S1 and S2 were numbers, addition happens. But if S1 and S2 are strings, well, it is going to perform concatenation of the two things. Well, if you just take this analogy and do the same thing over here with 75 as the first number and 25 as the second number, you can see over here, since these two numbers are in string format, the output is 7525. Okay. So the output over here is 7525, and that's exactly what happened in our case, right? In here the same thing happened over here. So what we want is something with the help of which the moment we take the input from the Python, it converts it to integer data type. And how can we do it? Well, there is a funda in Python which is called as typecasting. For example, let's say if I have a variable a which is having the value 75, and if I say print for me the value of a, print for me the type of a, of course it is going to be integer, right? But if I give double quotes over here, it is going to be string. If I want to convert it into integer, I can say over here b is equal to, just like integer was a data type, integer also exists as a string format. And integer was a data type, integer also exists as a will be converted from string data type to integer data type. And if you're not convinced, let me print out the outputs over here. So I have stored it in b, and here let me check the type of b. So as you can see over here, once again, it was 75. When I say print a and print type of a, it is string. Then I say b is equal to int of a. So a was converted from string data type to integer data type with the help of the function which is called as int. So int when used like this is called as a data type, and int when used with a round bracket, it is called as a function. So it was converted from this to this, and when I say print for me b, 75 got printed, and type of b is integer. So we understand over here clearly that this is how the things happen. So I can now think of taking the same thing, control A, control C. What I do over here is I paste the same thing. The moment I receive the input to this, I'll be converting it to integer. Similarly over here, the moment I receive the input of this, so now what happens over here is, when input function is going to get the number as 75, we know it is in string format, and immediately int function would be converting this 75 to integer. So now the data type over here of 75, which is stored in number 1, is going to be integer. Similarly, when over here you give 25, it will be converted into integer, and when 25 gets stored over here, it is again an integer, and when integer and integers are added, output will again be an integer. Are you able to get this? Let us try executing this once. So I say 75, I say 25, and now I get the answer as expected, which is 100. Okay. So input by default is string. Yes, Narsingani. Okay, and Vijay is asking me how to take list of inputs from the user using a for loop. Yes, you can do it using a for loop also. Okay, you can also do list comprehension over there, but that is something which we'll see later. Karthik, you are most welcome to leave. No need to type all those things in the comment section. We are in a flow. It may always happen that the session gets extended by a few 10 or 15 minutes. If you are uncomfortable, there is absolutely no need to spam. You can leave the session. It's an online session. You are most welcome to leave it, right? But no need to spam over here. Perfect. So, well, is this thing clear now? Are the things clear so far? Sahil, well, how to do that? We will be covering all those things in the advanced program. Well, how to get all those type cells, how to get that essential pop-ups or the suggestions in the code. When we go to the advanced cell, we have all those things to be covered over there, not in the essential stuff. Over here, we are focusing on the main data science concepts. So tomorrow we have to wind off, not tomorrow, the next session, we have to wind off with the Python and then start with the data science essentials right from the third session. So third and fourth would be purely focusing on NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn. Perfect. So yes, guys, I'm telling you right now, the session may get extended by 5 to 10 minutes anywhere down the line. And this is, I think, is beneficial for you only, right? It's not for my benefit. It is beneficial for you. So it may happen. So you may have to bear with me in that case. Sir, is that retention related to the Jupyter kernel? I didn't get this question. So I'm registered or not, I'm not aware. Well, I think you can talk to the student moderator by posting in the community. You will be getting the answer to this. Please explain about the assignment. It will be uploaded in the community forum as well as in the description of this YouTube link. Okay. Attendance form is pinned over here. You can fill the attendance form over here. Should we have laptop for us for last two classes? Well, you can, but let me tell you that if you are going to code along with me, then you will be disconnected with the subject. You have the recording of the video available with you. You have the laptop. You can do the executions later on when I share with you the notebook. Okay. A best option would be listen to me 100%. Try to understand the concept. As far as typing and execution is concerned, well, anyone can type, right? So don't focus on typing much. Focus more on understanding what is going on in the session. So I suggest not to type it along with me, although that's totally your choice. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Screen is clear. Screen is clear. Kajal, absolutely no problem. You might be having slow internet at your home. Maresh, you need not install Jupyter separately. Yes, you can certainly do it, but sometimes it creates problem. Here I used to do the same thing, but installing Anaconda is also fine. You can go for that. Javad is saying, sir, your teaching is really great. Thank you very much, Javed. Attendance for today, assignment for today. Yes, you have 4 assignments on each of the 4 days. So you'll be getting the assignment in next half an hour to 1 hour to be the link of which would be available in the description section of the YouTube video. Okay. Then Shoaib, you can go full screen. You can stop my share and go full screen.
Done, sir.
Okay. How could data science be used in networking field? Well, yes, certainly data science can be very well used in networking field. Well, what do you have in network, right? You have lot of data, lot of IP addresses served. Well, if you have the data of all the IP addresses, you can certainly get that one user is launching or surfing from which all IP addresses. That is one thing. Well, is there any one user who is continuously changing his IP addresses? You can identify the malicious users over there. So all these applications, you can identify what are the fraudulent transactions with the help of this networking, with the help of data science. So yes, certainly it has applications if and only if you have the collection of data with you. If you don't have collection of data, then you may not be able to get the most out of it. Yes, Jashwant, it is perfectly fine. In fact, as I told you, it is skill oriented and you should always learn something new. And everyone wants to learn data science today because it has a lot of potential. So there is no harm in learning, even though if you are working on the support system, you never know, if you get a good opportunity, you can switch in a better domain. Where will the notebook be shared? Everything will be there in the description of the video. Everything in the description of the video. Okay, you'll be getting more and more links added over there. Awesome, great session. Thank you, Indumati. Fair enough. So good time to stop. What job will you get after learning data science? Well, it depends on which company you are going for, because the role in the company differs, right? Some people call it as data scientist, some people call data engineer, some people call them as what do you call, data developers, some people call them as data specialist, some people called as visualization experts. So designation differs, but the role is going to be altogether in the field of Python, advanced Python, exploratory data analysis, feature engineering, machine learning, natural language processing, or a deep learning engineer. Okay, yeah, thank you, Ravi. Perfect. So we are good to stop, Shoaib. Can I call it a day?
Sure, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Bye bye, guys. See you all day after tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Or not day after tomorrow. I think we are meeting on Monday. Monday. Perfect. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Hi,
Bye,
sir.
guys. See you all day after tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Yes. Or not day after tomorrow. I think we are meeting on Monday. Monday. Perfect. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Is my voice audible, Shoaib?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all the links regarding the assignments are will be mentioned below. Please check the description. There is a batch community group. So please check in that link. Please visit the community and check the pinned post for all the assignments notes link. Everything is mentioned in the pinned post. So yep, and Shoaib, please mention the link once in the chat so people can actually go and join the community group for the batch.
Sure,
And
sir.
yep, thank you.